Good morning gamers, SoftKitty99 here, and I'm on the Creative Builds world, and I thought that it would be really nice to add a little bit more medieval feel to our town right next to our tea shop so that we can give it that cramped medieval look. What I want to do today is build a little house. The ground floor is going to be 9 blocks by 13 blocks, so that you know how much space you need to build it. So that's 9 by 13. But don't forget, the upper floor is going to be a little bit bigger, so you need a little bit of space away from another building in order to fit it in. Though I am going to build them very close together. I'm going to use the spruce wood logs. We'll need spruce wood stairs and slabs. I'm going to use bone blocks for my white material, so you can see the difference between the wool that I used in the last building and the bone that I use here, because both of them are really good for this type of build. I'm going to use the grey stained glass pane to make the windows look like they're really old and have been there a long time, and spruce door because I think that looks like the most old worldy type of door. And of course we're going to need torches inside, and I think that that might be enough materials, though we might want to make the floor out of oak inside instead perhaps, so that we've got a contrasting colour. So if we grab the oak planks or the oak slabs, let's have the oak slabs because that will show the beams a little bit more for the floor inside the building. Right, so we put the spruce wood log in the corner. It's going to want to go up later, we'll worry about how high up later. You want to leave 1, 2, 3 gaps and put another log in, and then another 3 gaps, 1, 2, 3, and put in your other log, and that is the shorter side of the building. And then you want to go along the side. I think you get the idea of what we're going to do. You're going to leave 1, 2, 3 gaps and then put the log in. 1, 2, 3 gaps and put, I didn't count that right, 1, 2, 3 log, 1, 2, 3 log. So you've got 3 logs along the short side and 1, 2, 3, 4 along the longer side. 1, 2, 3 gaps log, 1, 2, 3 gaps log. And turn, final side, 1, 2, 3 log, 1, 2, 3 log, 1, 2, 3 log. Nice and easy, see? Grab your bone blocks, and you're going to want to watch the orientation on the bone blocks, because as you can see they can look different. So you've got a slightly darker end. You don't want the slightly darker end sticking out of your building because it looks a little odd. So what you want to do is make sure that you put them in the orientation so that you've got the whiter side on the edge. And I want you to build a little square of 3 wide and 4 tall. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 tall and 1, 2, 3 wide. And do that in all of the gaps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you want to grab your spruce wood again, and you want to bring it up so it is 1 block taller than your panel. And I think you can guess, you join them across like that, and you want to do that all the way around the building. And I'll be back as soon as I've done that. And here we are, with all the panels filled in and the walls raised up. So what we're going to want to do is decide where are we going to want our door. Well, since I've already got my road here, I'm going to put mine on this end of the building, and I'm going to put it right in the middle here. We are going to want to replace the space just below the door and make sure there's no grass right in front of the door, obviously. Hello, Mr. Sheep. There we go, we've got our door. So the other panels where we don't have a door, we're probably going to want glass. So what I'm going to do is remove 2 windows, so it kind of matches the building over there, but you can see the difference between using the bone blocks and using the wall blocks. Both work perfectly well for your medieval buildings. It depends which one you just prefer the look of. I'm going to go round, and in each of these I'm going to put the windows. On this back wall I'm not going to put any windows because we're going to want to put stairs somewhere, so I think we'll put it along the back wall in order to get to the upper floor. Of course you can put your stairs anywhere you want, but make sure you just don't put windows in right where you're going to put your stairs. And the reason I'm saying that is because I just don't like windows being sort of half hidden by the stairs. I mean, you can obviously put them in if you like. What we need to do obviously inside is going to be putting in a floor. I think I'm going to do that in oak for myself, but we can do that later. Let's start on the upper floor. So stairs, I'm going to use the spruce stairs. We're going to want to make sure we leave a couple of gaps at the edge so that people are not kind of blocked in and have trouble getting up with clear space on the upper floor. Let's put that didn't quite go right, did it? Is one too short? Yeah, I think we want to move it one more across, so we've got two gaps for people to. Well, would that be better or not? Yeah, I think that might be better. Just need to adjust everything till you're happy with it. Because we're going to extend the top floor out, it actually can go right in the corner because we're going to have extra space here once we add the extra bits in. Right, so underneath the stairs I'm going to make them look a little bit more secure. I'm going to pop in the stairs upside down underneath just to make them look more solid. And I'm going to leave them open plan and just a small one wide stair for access. And then the rest of the floor up here we can fill in with the oak so that we have a floor for walking. Don't forget to leave space across here for people to get up on the stairs. You could just go all the way across and leave that one gap the whole way along, or you could put a little corner in, whichever you prefer. And if you're worried about people falling down, you can always put fence across the width of where you have the stairs open. For the top floor we want to extend the build out a little. I'm going to extend it out by 2 on each of the spots where we have the uprights. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. And now you can see why I said make sure if you've got another building close by that you give it a little bit of a gap, because you don't want the two to actually hit each other. And then you go round and you join all the edges together, just like we did on the tea shop. So there's some correspondence between the two builds and a few little variances as well, just so things look a little bit different, and also so that we've extended our medieval section of our town just a little bit bigger. And we're nearly all the way around. Now this time I want to put the spruce slabs in the gaps to make the rest of the floor to extend that little bit overhang all the way around the building. And the reason for that is what I want to do on the outside of the building underneath. Right, so underneath, now you've got the floor, you see, but it's sort of inset, whereas so it's different to this one. So you've got different styles of building. I just want there to be some variation so that you get to see a little bit of difference. Now where we've got these support poles sticking out, I want to give them a little extra support. So what I thought we'd do is use the spruce stairs and go 1 upside down, 2 upside down, and then 1 underneath, because that way you get this sort of supporting structure that moves outwards, and it's got this nice little hole in it so that it's a little bit decorative as well. So upside down stairs, 1, 2, and then on the row below just 1. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, and do that all the way around. Make sure they're upside down. Because with the tea shop it kind of looks a little bit free floaty, and this time we're putting in the support so that it looks like the house has got a lot of support. So you can see the difference between the two types. See, here we've got kind of free floating and here we've got the supports put in. Which style you prefer is of course entirely up to you, but I just thought it's nice to show different types and styles of the buildings. There we go. So that's the bottom floor completed. Now what we want to do is extend our building upwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. And again with the bone blocks in the middle we've got 1, 2, 3 wide and 1, 2, 3, 4 tall. And that's how we go around all the panels. Now when you get to the corner, obviously that's going to be a little bit different. So what we're going to have with the corners is if you put the bone blocks 4 tall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the spruce logs around them, you're just basically going to have a 1 tall section at the edges like that, and then the rest of the walls are going to be the same 3 by 4 with the bone blocks in the centre, surrounded on the edges by the spruce wood, like so. I'm going to do that all the way around and I'll be back once I've done that. And here we are with all of that done. So on the short side we've got 2 big panels and 2 small panels, and on the longer side we've got 3 big panels and 2 small panels. And now you can see why we left the little gap between the road and the downstairs, because we're now very close to overhanging the road. Time to add the windows to the upper floor. In the big panels, knock out the centre 2 blocks and pop in your glass of choice. I'm using the pale grey to give it that sort of smoky, aged look to the glass. So we're going to do that all the way around in all of the big panels. So we'll have 2 windows on the shorter edges and 3 on the bigger ones. Nearly done. And then what we need is a roof. So there we go. Time for our roof. I thought this time we would do something a little bit different. So what I want to do is go on the outside of the logs all the way along the length of the building and overhang by 1 with the spruce slabs. And then what I want to do is go up by half a block by putting the second row on top of the block. and I want to go up by another half a block. As we go across. So as that's half a slab higher up, you are going to need to put in a spacer block, and because of the way the blocks work, it will have to be the spruce at that point, because nothing else will work to give the uniform top of the wall look. And we want to do the same on the opposite side. So let's start by overhanging, and as you can see, because I wanted the cramped feel, the roofs of the two buildings are as close as they possibly could be, because they are practically touching. The only reason they're not actually touching is because of the slight height difference, because of the way I'm doing the roofs. But that is quite often the sort of way medieval buildings were. They were built as close as possible to one another, because ground space was at a premium and costs were at a premium, so everything was very cramped and used the area as much as possible, not waste an inch of space. And that will bring, oops, make sure you put the planks in the same correct places. So that's 3 rows on each side, and we want to continue that on the inside. But now we are tall enough up to add in an extra 1 row of height. So I'm going to put on the spruce in the same places as the support beams and fill in the edge with the bone blocks. And then we can go back to our slabs and continue with our roof. This will make it a fairly low roof, with a nice sort of flat, shallow, triangular shape, keeping the wasted space in the materials to a minimum for the build structure. Oops. So getting the roofs right is always very important, I think, to give that finished, nice look to the build. I'm choosing to make the roof completely uniform rather than varying the materials we're using, because that's the kind of way that they would have been more in medieval times. They would use the materials that they had, and it would be a smaller selection of things that they had to build with, and it would be cheaper for them to build with the same materials all the time. So again, we can raise up the sides by the 1 extra in height, so put the bone blocks in at the sides and the spruce wood in the centre. I think we might want 1 more in the middle here. I'm going to put 1 in for now. But if you go up half a block at a time, it will become quite easy to see where everything is going to fit. And it will, yeah, right there, right on top, just there, that's perfect. So if we come back here, you can now see that it's a very shallow roof, but it's a nice triangular shape, and it's in contrast again to the one next to it. You get to see the different style of houses. I actually quite like this flatter roof for this style of building. So we've got the traditional thatch steep angled roof over there, and we've got a flatter medieval style of wooden roof over here. So although you want to build, if you do decide you want to build an entire town or something in medieval style, it doesn't mean that you're stuck with one exact repeated structure all the time. You can vary up what you're building to give the whole place character, because every building could be different, because it would have been built by a different family. So you can get lots and lots of variation. You just have to think, what can I make this building slightly different to the last one? Now they don't have to be even major changes. They could be, one has one panel windows, one has two squares of window, one has a flat roof, one has a slow angled roof, shallow angled roof, one has a steep roof. It's simple little variations. Sizes of the gaps between the support structures. Here we've got a bigger support, here we've got a smaller one. There's lots of variation you can make, and that basically is our 2-story medieval house. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. From Soft Kitty 99, goodbye and happy gaming!